Hey everybody. Well, today I thought we could revisit this little guy right here. This is Rover, Rover the robot that was seen in the television show Wonder Woman. It starred Linda Carter and Lyle Wagner. I think it ran from 1975 to 1979. It only ran for 3 seasons, but in season two, about midway through or maybe a little past halfway, they introduced this cute, adorable little robot named Rover, and he was kind of the comic relief on the show. He was a mail delivery robot. He'd have these little letters in here. Now, I showed on a previous video a full-size replica of Rover here, and I'll put a link to that video in the description. You can check it out. He's really cool. I'll show it to you in this video too, just briefly to show you the size comparison. And that Rover and this Rover were both made by John Rigg. Now, I've talked about John many times on this channel. He has a channel on YouTube called Robothut. I love his channel. I've been following him for years and years. He does all kinds of cool robot-related things. He builds robots. He has a collection of wind-up, battery-operated, full-size replicas of famous TV and movie robots. He's been featured on a couple of different TV shows. And so he's been into a lot of 3D printing stuff, and he also repairs older robots too. And I brought up to his attention this robot of Rover. He hadn't seen the show Wonder Woman, so he wasn't familiar with little Rover here, but he managed to create a full-size Rover for me, which was awesome. And so I'll show you that one here in just a minute. But also, he decided to make this one. Now, this is really cute. He's a smaller mini Rover. This one's about 40% of the size of the original one, and it's really cool. This is the same file that John created. He created the file. He created all of this. But I want to show you how all of this works and all the detail because he's really cool. So this little guy is exactly just like the big one that I showed in the previous video. There's a few minor changes on this, mainly because of the scale, but you can see he looks really good. He's got the caster wheels. These are all 3D printed. John designed all of this. Now these ones, they do turn, but they're not really made to turn, so I don't want to force them and mess them up. But the wheels do roll. His ball casters do roll. Here, I can probably make that one more straight. This one back here does turn. This one has more of a swivel action. You can see it's made to swivel like this. Exactly the same dimensions as the original, except for, I should say, like, you know, the different angles and stuff as the big one here. But I don't know how John figured this out because he did this all based on some photos and videos that I sent him. And he made the large one. Now, this is a fully functional Rover, just like the other one. The only thing that's different on this small one is that his dome doesn't go up and down. But I'll bring the big one in here too, so you can see the size difference and see what they, how they operate differently. This one here, John painted him a different color. He's almost kind of like a silvery brass. It's kind of an interesting color. I think it's coming off pretty good here. I was originally going to repaint him, but I don't know. This color's kind of grown on me now, and I think I'm just going to leave him the way it is. Plus, it'll be really hard to mask off certain things on here. The tail lights don't light up on this particular model because it would have been hard to get some LEDs in there. Not to say that John couldn't do it, because he's managed to do everything else on these, which is amazing. He did motorize the little radar tail that Rover has on here, and his lights work as well. So let me get the lights working and I'll show you how that all works. All right, now this version of Rover has a more interesting way that John figured this out. So on the other one, I'll show you how the door opens and there's a switch down in here. On this unit, it's all kind of in one. He's got this really neat thing that he made here. So this is like it's got a wire in here. That wire goes down to the lights that are, no, let's see, the lights that are down here, the colored ones. And he color matched these to the one that you saw on the show. And then these wires also go to the little radar antenna tail. But now see what he's got going on here? This is really cool. So these little lights here, these 3 LEDs are what makes these flash. And there's like a white, I'm not sure you can see it in here. There's like a white, see, he's got the white piece of plastic in there as a diffuser. You can kind of see what's going on down in there. He soldered all those lights in there. It's really crazy that he can do such intricate work like that. It's so cool. I tell you, the man is a genius. He really is. And then he's got the dome here. There's some LEDs up inside here, like on the original Rover. He 3D printed all of this stuff. Here's the back. Now, it runs on 4 AAA batteries on here. Now, when he first sent this to me, I thought there was something wrong. I thought it got broken in shipping. But it turns out this battery pack is so tight that sometimes the positive contact on the battery isn't touching the positive contact on the battery case, and unfortunately, so I didn't know that. You have to push it up hard to make sure that it's touching. If I had known that, I wouldn't have had to send it back to him. So I ended up sending it back to him for no reason. It ended up just being my mistake because I didn't know that about these cases. So he ended up, checking him out, and everything was working just fine. But here we are. So yeah, everything was just fine on this. It was my goof. All right, so let me put the wires. We'll tuck the wires back into him. And then oh, I should turn on the light here. So when I turn on the light, see how that works right there? And see how they start to randomize? So that's how all of that works. So let me put all this in. It's kind of a tight fit. You have to kind of finagle things in here. And then once you got it on there, he's ready to go. Okay, so I turned down the studio light so you can see what's going on here. I can't believe he got this much functionality in such a mini Rover. I mean, this is pretty mind-boggling. So you can see all of these are lighting up just like they did on the show. Now, because of those 3 LEDs that you saw on that column in there, that's what provides the lighting in here. And I thought it was a clever way of getting around having to do tiny little LEDs in there, because there's 50 that would go on there. So John came up with a nice, clever solution to make those still light up. You can see the lights going on in here, just like on the original Rover. Now, oftentimes on the show, these lights here and these lights weren't even working on the original prop. I'm guessing they just had problems with that frequently on the show, and maybe the prop guys just kind of gave up. But you can see also he added the lights in here, which I think is really cool. Very neat looking. I love that he had those in there. A lot of people didn't know that Rover had these lights, but yeah, he can roll. He can roll just like the original Rover. He's got the working ball casters, and that's all 3D printed. He used little nails for the axles for these. And here on the bottom, let me see if I can do this. I don't want to mess it up. You can see how he put the, here, let me put some lights. See how he's got the tubing on there? Just like the original Rover, it was just tubing with the wheels on there. So that's how he did it. So cool. I love that it's a miniature version of him. He's really cute. I always thought Rover was so cool on that show. Some people thought he was a smart aleck. He kind of was a smart aleck, but that's kind of what made him funny. And the way he scooted around down the halls. Now, when I sent this back to John, the antenna unfortunately got bent during shipping. You can kind of see it moving a little bit. And so because of that, it wasn't turning, because the radar tail normally spins a lot slower. So he had to remove the resistor in there and to make this turn fast enough so that it would not catch on anything. So it does turn faster now, but that's fine. The fact that he even got that running in there is just mind-blowing to me. Okay, now let me bring in the full-size guy, and you can see the size difference between the two and kind of the difference in some of the workings of them. Okay, so here's the two of them together now, and it's so funny because I've been looking at this one now for a while, that this guy here looks so huge. He looks so much bigger. It's funny how your eyes adjust. So I did a video on this one talking about it, showing the details and everything like that, but I just want to show you the two together. So let's go and turn him back on. That's so neat. All right, and then this guy here now, just as I showed in the other video, his door does open just like it did on the original show. We turn on the main power. His caster wheels move just like the original Rover. This is an invisible wire I have attached so I can pull them along just like they did on the show. On the back, his taillights are the power indicator to indicate that his power is plugged in. And then he's got this remote so I can turn on his dome lights right there. And then I can also turn on his main body lights here. You'll see how they start to kind of flash on their own and do their own randomization. On the back here, I can now turn on his little radar dish tail, which works really good, turns just like the original. And then his dome is also animated so that it can go up and down just like it did on the show. So on the show, that's how Rover showed emotions or responses to people. He had this little kind of cool moving dome. So in John's video, he shows how he did all of that, how he designed everything, how he designed everything. He did all of this based on pictures and video that I sent to him about the show, because he hadn't seen the show before. So it's incredible that he was able to do this. It's an amazing thing. I'll put a link to his channel. It's called Robothut. I'll put a link in the description. You can check out all the cool work that he does. He does repairs on vintage robots. Amazing collection of robots that he has. But check out the stuff that he does on there, because it's a lot of fun. But I really just wanted to show you know, how cool this is to have this little guy. It's like his little brother. So cool. I just absolutely love this. Absolutely fantastic. Well, anyway, thank you, John, for making both of these and allowing me to get this. Rover is one of those robots that I've wanted for so long, and just never could find anybody that made it or any model kits or anything out there. And so, as far as I know, this is the first fully functional Rover replica out there. So I think John is the first one to create that. And then he goes and turns around and makes this incredible little mini version of it. Isn't that awesome? All right, well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I will see you later. Check out Wonder Woman. I think it's streaming on some channels. If you can find it. Rover doesn't show up until late into the second season. He's only on 8 episodes, sadly. I wish they would have used him more. But check out Wonder Woman. It's one of those fun old shows from back in the day. All right, well, thank you again for watching. I appreciate your viewership. I'll see you on the next video, and have a good one.